Hello everyone, I'm Paul, and this is part 2 of my timber shed project. All the holes have been drilled. The drilling was done with a excavator with a hydraulic auger on it. Now, there was no recording of that because of time constraints. You can see here basically what I'm doing is I'm scraping away the aftermath of all the dirt that was pulled from the holes. Most of the dirt was rock, a lot of rock, very small rock, and lots of clay on the bottom. There was a layer of sand, and on the top there was a layer of gravel. All the holes, basically, they're about 14-inch diameter, and the Sawmill tube that you see in there right now is a 12-inch diameter tube. All the holes were done to 48-inch depth, and that's just below the frost line here in my area. The one thing to note is that there's 10 holes in total for 10 posts that we're going to be putting up for the timber shed. Now the shed's going to store my tractor that you see right here in the video, and it's also for the mill. If you can see in the background there's a green tarp over top of it. Now, one thing that we ran into a lot of problem with was the rain that we had. We had about a week of rain, so I was out here on and off trying to get the job done, and this has backed it up a lot of things for me, and because of that I have not recorded some stuff. I was hoping to record a little bit more, but due to time constraints again, guys, unfortunately I couldn't record everything. You can see the markers there with the cones. Those are my markers for my line, my string line, so when I set the post and put the forms on, I can identify basically the correct position for the tubes that are in the ground and for the forms that I'm going to put on top of them. Also, with those markers, it will give me the height. There's a marking on each one of those cones down below on the rod. There's a marking that will indicate where my string line should be set at. That was all done with a laser level that I used to obtain the proper height for the grade of ground, basically. So on the left side, basically the ground is about 2.5 to 3 inches lower than on the right side. As I'm scraping away the dirt, I'm kind of leveling it as well. As you can see, it's not all tractor work, and you have to get off the tractor and move a lot of the dirt around the holes just with a shovel. It's a fairly manual intensive. It's not that bad though, it's all loose stuff. I just didn't want all that stuff to drop into the hole. I'm just moving all the debris around the holes so we don't kick it in, so we can set the tubes up, and also to set the forms on top of the tubes. The holes, when we did the drilling, it took about an hour and a half with an excavator with a hydraulic auger on it. The hydraulic auger was 12-inch auger. So if you did that by hand, actually I did the first hole by hand, and it took an hour and 15 minutes. The ground was very compact, no really big rocks that ran into or anything like that, so it wasn't too bad. Here you can see I basically have the string tied to the peg, and it's set at the elevation that was indicated by the laser. I'm going to go around on each rod, and I'm going to attach the string at the appropriate height that was laser leveled at, and two reasons for that is, one will give me my center for my forms and my post, and also it gives me the proper elevation to bring up the forms at the proper height. The elevation is basically about a 3-inch difference from the right side of your screen there and to the left cone, the farmost left cone. So it's not too bad. It was graded for slope to keep the water away. Now I'm just finishing up the string line. So I'm going to, next thing we're going to do is going to start to pour all the cement. You can see here the cement mixer is running. That's my son, my eldest son, that's actually mixing the cement. We are using Portland cement, and we are mixing with gravel and water, so it's a lot less expensive to mix it ourselves. And basically what I decided to do was use the tractor bucket instead of a wheelbarrow to cart the cement across to each hole and to fill them up appropriately. a lot easier on the back than trying to lift it up. So we were able to put quite a bit of concrete into each load into the cement mixer, which was kind of nice. And you can see as I'm driving along there, all the other forms are already set. This is the last hole. One thing you'll notice here on the right hand side is that I've got the shot back out. Again, that's because we had rain, and what happens when we got the rain is that the bottom of each hole had between 6 to 8 inches of water in it. So use the shot back to suck out the water out of the hole prior to putting the Sawmill tube in, and also to pouring in the cement. So here I'm just shoveling in the concrete, the cement mix into the hole. I do mix it a little bit with the shovel. What we did record basically here was I do use a scaling bar to poke the concrete down in the hole around the lot to get rid of all the air pockets that I can possibly get rid of. You don't want any air pockets inside. And you can see I'm just pouring it right over top of the string, and you can see the string is level with the top of the form, and it's also passing through on the center of the form. I don't know if you notice in there's some red lines on the inside of the forms themselves, and they come across on the top. Those are the center points, so when I put the string I can line up the form. So the forms are 16-inch squared, and the diameter that you see of the tube is a 14-inch diameter. So something you won't see in the recording as well is the mesh that we put into each hole. I poured all the concrete to a certain level, and then I put in some mesh at different levels to make sure that it had something to adhere to. And you'll see here in a minute at the end, I'm going to put in a piece of rebar, the final piece of rebar. Here we go here with that. So I'll let the cement settle a little bit before I put this rebar in. I am going to shake it a little bit afterwards as well by tapping the sides of the forms, and also you'll see here I'm going to use a couple of trowels to just kind of level out the cement a little bit better than what it is. So now I'm not trying to make it super smooth or anything like that. I'm just trying to work the concrete a little bit so that it presses in, and then I'm going to extract a little bit of the excess concrete to level it up with the form. Now also, again, what you didn't see is that after I actually come by and I do tap on the sides of the forms with a hammer, and that's to get the air pockets out on the sides of the forms as well. A lot of stuff, as I mentioned, wasn't recorded. We were under the gun. There was a lot of things we had to get done at a certain time, and it was kind of indicative that it happened throughout this project. So anyways, there's a lot more work that's been done than what you're actually seeing here. There's things, little tricks and tips that I didn't show and that I wanted to, but unfortunately it's a timing issue, so I had to get so much done by a certain time. So that brings us near the end here. What I did is I let the forms cure a little bit, and then I came back with the tractor and I scraped it all up. So that brings us to the end of this video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so by hitting that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Magellan Outdoors.